Good Thursday morning. It's McCollum on Business. I'm Stephen McCollum, and for the next 30 minutes or so, I'm going to get you updated on what's happening around the business world, including Market Watch, stocks we're paying attention to, local and national stories that you need to know. As well, here on this Thursday, we're rolling through this week pretty quickly. Hopefully, if you're in the Phoenix area, you survived that storm that rolled through last night. It was really bad out where we were out there in the East Valley. Ooh, it was kind of a dodging trees coming in this morning, so enjoy your commute out there as well. And let's get into it with that Market Watch. And a lot of questions out there around the market. Shouldn't be a surprise to anybody with the Middle East situation happening. The Treasury yields today, they have rebounded. So basically wiped out the decline when Secretary of Treasury Scott Bessent intervened in the bond units with some debt stuff that he pulled. Well, Treasury yields are back up again today as well. So new pressures are being put on the markets out there as well. We got big openings here. We got the Walmart reporting we'll talk about coming up as well. Oil prices today, well, in that $85 range still here as we're looking at them. And that means the markets here in general, as you can see on your screen, down a big today. 360 points down for the Dow Jones right now. 53,098 for the Dow Jones. The S&P 500 is down 28 points to 7682. The NASDAQ down 183 points today. 26,155. The Russell 2K, that small cap index, 34 points down. As we look at it here, about 30 minutes into the trading day. Bitcoin, on the other hand, look at this, folks. Big jump for it, 2391. We'll talk about this in our second half of the show. Bitcoin's up to 71,688 today. Over a 5,000 jump yesterday when we were here at the show. It was trading at the 65,000 level. Specific reason for that, we'll get into that, as I said, later on in the program as well. So Treasury yields are a big issue. And the other thing that's kind of weighing down the market as people are looking at it is Walmart, which is our first stock we're going to look at here today as well. 8.63% right now. Walmart announced their reporting yesterday. On the surface, Walmart posted a revenue beat for its second quarter. The problem was their U.S. comparable sales grew by 2.6%. The analysts were expecting a 3.5% increase out there, so missed those numbers. Earnings per share guidance for the fiscal third quarter and full year also fell short of expectations. There was a lot of good in Walmart's reporting, but the comparable sales being so low was a big concern. Now, Walmart did say they're going to use their large tariff refund to keep their pricing low, as they're getting a big one there. We're going to have more on Walmart and their reporting here coming up in just a few stories as we get through the government stories coming up here in just a minute. But Walmart retailer down 8.67% here today. And then let's look at Moderna out there. Of course, we looked at them yesterday, and they were up 177% yesterday. That's how they closed. Well, it was all because of that promising late-stage trial results for the cancer vaccine that they had in conjunction with the other pharmaceutical company out there. Now, this from Merck is with the other company. The trial showed that this experimental vaccine in combination with Keytruda met key goals in patients with higher risk or advanced melanoma whose detectable cancer had been completely removed through surgery. So yesterday up 177%, but down today 17.26%. People, no doubt, taking their money out after that big gain yesterday by Moderna out there. Advanced Auto Parts is going to be the next stock that we're going to look at here. They're an automotive parts supplier is what they do there. They're down today 19.83%. Mixed results for its second quarter. Advanced Auto Parts posted revenue of $1 billion. Well, that's short of the $2.04 billion expected by analysts. Yeah, there's a big miss there. It also reported a loss in comparable sales of 0.5%. Well, there was a gain of 1.4% expected from analysts out there. Here's the good news, though, for Advanced Auto Parts. The earnings per share did top the expectation level for that side of it. But Advanced Auto Parts down 19.62% today, with just that unbelievable miss by them from the expectation level out there. And we showed you Bitcoin there with the market watch, and I told you we're going to look at them later. We're going to, right, with crypto stock side of things. We're going to look at Coinbase, Strategy, Circle Internet as well. And we're going to tell you why Bitcoin, kind of a big bump today here on the market as well, coming up later on in the program. But first, let's get into some national stories. Fewer people applied for U.S. unemployment benefits last week. Well, it just keeps showing us, as we know, layoffs remain low, and you have job security. Although there's big stories of layoffs, overall, layoffs are not happening. But people aren't hiring either. The Labor Department came out with this reporting this morning. Jobless claims dropped to 206,000 last week. It was at a revised 212,000 the week before. The 4-week average of claims, which takes out the volatility of the week to week and everything, it ticked up to about 204,000 last week. It was at 199,750 the week before. For the past year, claims have been at that historically low range, about 200 to 230,000 per week, kind of consistently over the last year. The number of people collecting unemployment benefits the week that ended August 8th, well, it went up to 1.8 million claims from the 1.78 million the week before. The U.S. unemployment rate still right there, that historically low levels of 4.1% on the unemployment rate side. Companies are afraid to unload their employees if they need to. Kind of harkens to that COVID era where they just weren't sure. But they're also not bringing on new employees. And that just continues to show here as we talk about with those unemployment rates and everything. Now let's go up to Canada here. And there was a deal put on paper. We're waiting for the finalization of that deal for those tariffs threatened to put on Canadian goods. Well, there's always somebody out there that has a differing opinion, and so we're going to go to Quebec's premier. Yes. They said Canada-U.S. trade negotiations are, quote, far from over, even though we kind of have everything written down in paper here and waiting to be signed. And basically, this Quebec premier demanded more information from Prime Minister Mark Carney before deciding whether an emerging agreement adequately protects Quebec's dairy and forestry sectors. The premier also pushed back against quickly restoring U.S. alcohol to provincial stores. Remember, Quebec was the one that removed all American imported alcohol off their shelves, even though they had already bought it. Yeah, basically saying Quebec alone would decide whether American products return to the shelves up there in Quebec. Quebec has a government corporation that controls most of retail sales of wine and spirits in the province, and she's saying that they will decide when American alcohol goes back onto their shelves. Canada and the United States moved closer, if you remember, Wednesday to finalizing that trade agreement. They came to the agreement Tuesday night before the deadline came up. And this is those 50% U.S. tariffs that were being threatened by President Trump. Trump had said the agreement was very fair, was his words in social media posts to both sides. Even predicted U.S. farmers and manufacturers would benefit from this deal. So these were tariffs that were going to hit about $20 billion worth of Canadian imports. Those have been postponed until 12:01 Saturday because the framework of the deal's in place. They got to work on the wording, etc., put it down to be signed. So it was extended the extra days. So 12:01 a.m. Saturday, if no deal is done, that will go into effect. But there's always some other politician out there, putting a wrinkle in the big government side of things, including in Canada. It happens there as well. From a national perspective here in the United States, the national debt officially has surpassed $40 trillion. Yeah. I can't even imagine that number, right? Imagine the interest we're paying on that with interest rates, what they are. Yeah, it hit that number yesterday. Now, it's a big milestone, and part of it, a lot of it, defense costs, right? With the war in Iran, social programs, Social Security, Medicare, through the roof in terms of their expenses as well. But again, the other big item people don't think about, the interest on $40 billion is killing these numbers as well. And that all makes up the enormous share of federal spending here, allowing us to hit that $40 trillion record. So this figure is a milestone. It was recorded just 5 months after we hit the $39 trillion debt level back in March. It reached 38 trillion 5 months before that in October of last year. 5 months is where we're going through $1 trillion, folks. So this $40 trillion figure highlights competing administration priorities. Defense spending needs to be boosted, obviously, because of that Iran war, missiles, etc., needing there as well. But also, they're trying to lower the cost of gas and groceries, finding the fraud and waste in the government. And then all of that's just competing with this number skyrocketing as well. Now, experts, they say the exploding debt and the latest record milestone of $40 trillion, they say they're already affecting your pocketbooks, raising borrowing costs for things like mortgages, cars, etc., with the interest rates being what they are. But also it's lowering wages from businesses that have less money available to invest and then creating more expensive goods and services throughout the government. Now, this isn't a Trump thing. You don't get to $40 trillion under one administration, for those Trump haters out there. Yeah, the debt has actually exploded over several presidential administrations. Nations' presidents, well, they spend more money than it collects in taxes. Advocates for a balanced budget, well, they come out and they warn that long-term trend of borrowing more and paying more in interest, well, that's going to force Americans to face tougher fiscal trade-offs ahead, and that's where we're headed with this deal. At some point, you're going to have to come through to lower this down, which means a lot of things are going to be cut that you're used to getting, etc., out there. And that's where we're headed towards pretty quickly here. Now we'll have to see what time frame that comes up out there as well. But $40 trillion, folks, national debt out there. Now, I like this idea of the regulation. I'm not big on the government regulation, but I am kind of into this because I think companies that secretly change prices when they get information about you, I think they're the devil. I think they're just absolutely the devil. Now, companies that do that work where they secretly vary prices based on how much they think you'll pay based off of information about you, well, they could soon face federal charges, all because there's a proposed policy released yesterday by the Federal Trade Commission. The FTC has been looking at personalized pricing. Some people call it surge pricing, but this is surge pricing, but on the personal side. For instance, you just had a baby, and they get wind of that. All of a sudden, baby products are a little bit more expensive for you when you go shopping for them. We're online, they noticed it. So the FTC's had its eye on these personalized pricing for a long time now. They had a report back in January of 2025. They found that grocers, clothing companies, and other things, well, they were using third-party companies to help them individualize online prices based on shoppers' locations, browsing histories, and other factors that these third parties can find out about you. Even things like as simple as because I'll do this from time to time. I'll just be looking at stuff and I'll put something in the cart. No intention to buy it. I just put it in the cart to remind me. Well, that simple act that I was doing was telling these companies to raise prices on items surrounding that because I'm interested in it. Well, the FTC doesn't have actually legal authority to ban personalized pricing in most circumstances, but the proposed policy, if it does pass, businesses would have to clarify and conspicuously disclose if they are engaging in personalized pricing. They got to share the types of data they're using to set those prices, and that's all we ask. Tell us how we can avoid getting caught up in your webs of deceit, companies, right? The proposed policy states that companies that do engage in that personalized pricing and they don't reveal the practice or even the data behind it, well, they say they could violate this proposed FTC Act, and that's going to prohibit unfair and deceptive practices in the marketplace is where it can kind of lead to. Now, the FTC is seeking comment on the policy for 30 days. I saw 3 or 4 stories about this, and all of them said major retailers haven't really commented on this idea. And make no mistake about it, at least on the e-commerce side, everybody's engaging in it. I'll put money on it right now. Amazon to Walmart to all the Target. If you do online shopping, they're paying attention to that stuff out there. Speaking of e-commerce, Walmart and their reporting yesterday, we showed you their stock earlier, down today. Got a big tariff refund, and that they're going to put that toward keeping prices low, they announced yesterday. But one of the successes that Walmart's had in their reporting, their e-commerce sales. Their overall e-commerce sales grew, and they're reporting in the second quarter. Major business segments out there. So global e-commerce, it's up 23%, led by store fuel pickup and delivery. Even its online marketplace up that 23% globally out there. Now, the gains were even stronger, though, here in the United States. E-commerce sales increased 24% just in the U.S. Strength of store-fulfilled delivery, advertising, and their online marketplace as well. It even went over to Sam's Club in the U.S. They're, obviously a division owned by Walmart, if you didn't know that. But they saw strong e-commerce growth on their side as well. Their sales were up 26%. Continued growth in club-filled pickup and delivery allowed the Sam's Club to be up a huge amount as well. Now, that's just the U.S. numbers. If you go international, obviously, if the global's up 23%, well, that means everything was mostly up. Yeah, the international side of Walmart e-commerce, they posted strong growth. 19% on the international side out there as well. And like I said, all because of store-fulfilled pickup and delivery options that their online e-commerce brings to Walmart. So that was their big standout thing there for Walmart. Because their e-commerce for a long time was garbage. That's one reason why I shop at Target instead. Target, I can get on their app, order what I want, drive up, pick it up, and drive home and not even leave my car. Walmart's a little bit harder to get stuff done without going into it out there. And they've made improvements reportedly because of those numbers show that out there as well. And then there's another story, right? We just talked about, we talk all the time here about where's our money going as taxpayers. And then you get down to the state level, where's it going from that perspective? And now, with state universities competing, right? They have to pay athletes now millions of dollars to NIL money, etc. And now some states have got into the business. They're propping up their strange sports budgets in the strange sports budgets of universities. Yeah, in ways that it's a new trend. Let's put it that way. The state's dollars aren't going directly to the athletes. No, the states are now personally funding. They're putting things into their budgets to fund facilities and administrative costs that normally the schools used to deal with. States are freeing universities to use their own dollars for other purposes. For instance, we can go to North Carolina, right? University of North Carolina. Well, they're receiving $3 million earmarked from state sports betting taxes. Even Wisconsin's getting involved in this. They approved $15 million for athletic costs up there at the University of Wisconsin. Now, Connecticut, Louisiana have gotten into this as well. They're using those tax dollars as well for college athletics. More states are considering doing this as well. It's an emerging trend out there for tax dollars. We're already paying tax dollars to the universities. And now more money and tax work is going to these universities for the sports side of things. It's an emerging trend. I just gave you the examples of states that have passed it. Our tax money is just being thrown left and right out there, left and right. Hey, let's get into something that's a little bit more fun for us. Are you competitive? You like Uno? Well, Mattel came out and announced Uno Championship Series. Yeah, it's a competitive live event that's going to transform the world's #1 traditional card game. Yep, it's going to be a big tournament with, leading to unpredictable events. Going to be fast-paced, according to them. We'll see. So they say it's going to be chaotic, and it's going to be a lot of fun and everything at a competitive level where real money can be won out there as well. So there's going to be in-person digital qualifiers to qualify for this event. It's going to basically all the qualifiers and everything are going to come together, and you're going to get an Uno Championship Series tournament. That tournament's going to happen Wednesday, November 11th in LA, over there in Los Angeles. And Uno players from across the globe will compete for the title of the 2026 Uno Champion. Yeah, $500,000, $50,000 grand prize from that level. I don't know why I added the extra zero. I'm trying to up. So when I win this thing, I'm trying to up Uno's prize money there to 500,000. Yeah, so you can go. Tournament qualifying events in person are going to take place. Few cities: Kissimmee, Florida; Chicago, Illinois; El Segundo, California, coming up in the October time frame. You can look all this up online if you don't have a notepad on you as well. One winner from each event earning a spot in the tournament. You can also earn a place in the championship. Free weekly qualifying tournaments in the Uno mobile app out there. That'll be from end of August 31st through September 27th. Yeah, the top 4 players advancing to the live event at that time as well. And then they'll have global fans invited to compete in that main tournament. They're even coming out with games, that you can buy to kind of get involved in the live tournament and have it at your house and things to that effect. They're coming out with some of those style things. So Uno fans, your dream has come true. You can navigate the world of competitive Uno coming up here over the next couple months as well. And folks, when we come back here at McCollum on Business, we keep the show rolling with Bitcoin's up. I'll tell you why Bitcoin's up so much today. And we'll look at Coinbase strategy and Circle Internet, some cryptocurrency stocks there for you that rely heavily on the cryptocurrencies. All that, local stories coming your way, and Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts. Come on back, folks. Main event. And we're back here at McCollum on Business here this morning. We had a good laugh at my flub up there at the end of that break. Going into that break there, we had a good laugh around here about that. Hey, it's Thursday morning. We survived the storms that rolled through the Phoenix area last night. Hopefully you're not dodging trees like we were doing this morning coming into the studio. And of course here, well, everything is live on on YouTube here this morning. I'm telling you, folks, it's been a struggle. YouTube this morning, TME Media AZ is where you can find us live, 7 a.m., as long as markets are open out there. Of course, we'll be here tomorrow, Friday as well. So come and join us. And then, of course, we roll live into the main event, 8 to 10 a.m. Me and 17-year NFL veteran Dale Hellestrade gets you updated on the sports news. Uncle Lou comes in today to talk to NFL and, of course, UFC out there. 9 o'clock is when he comes in, but live 8 to 10 a.m. on YouTube coming up today as well. And then everything else is on demand here on YouTube, except for The Real Matrix. That's exclusive over to Rumble. So the pit stops on YouTube as well. Come and join us there. And then over on Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media. Now you can find all of our programming over there, including exclusively the Real Matrix on that side. The Real Matrix, the Angry Patriot, he guides you through some topics that make you want to think out there. And he just wants to give you the information and you decide how you feel about it. Well, every Friday at noon, a new episode comes out. Last Friday was a Dr. Fauci episode. Well, there's another part 2 version of this episode coming out tomorrow at noon as well, Friday at noon. Everything's on a free podcast system except for this show, McCollum on Business. Just search the show name into your favorite podcast system, being the main event with Steven, the main event with Dale, the pit stop with Steven. Well, the Real Matrix, Angry Fan, or Angry Patriot, either one of those pops right up for you there on your favorite podcast systems, Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart, Podbean. If you'd rather listen to the programs, big success on the podcast side of things is, we're still building up the YouTube page, and we appreciate your support. Like and follow it as well. Don't forget to follow TME Media AZ as well. We don't spam posting on there, and we just kind of do what we do out there. We do show clips on that page, just showing you what we do around here as the parent company here, TME Media AZ as well. With all that being said, let's get right into that Market Watch. Yeah, Treasury yields rising again today. Walmart down with their reporting on the retail side. Well, everything's down today based off of that information. Dow Jones is down to 369 points right now to 53,090. The S&P 500 is down to 28 points as we look at it. About an hour into the trading day. Nasdaq's down 186 points here this morning. Russell 2K's down 35 to just over 3,002 for that small cap index. Now, Bitcoin up 2167 right now, 2,167. Yeah, yesterday it was trading at 65,000 when we were on air. And today, right now, it's at 71,472 for Bitcoin here today. And that's going to be our focus here in this segment and the Market Watch and stocks we're paying attention to. Crypto stocks. First stock we're going to look at, Coinbase, of course. Well, crypto-related stocks have all gone higher today. As you see, Coinbase is at 6.78% right now. Let's throw up Strategy here as well, also up. They're all up, 6.50% for Strategy as we're looking at it right now. Circle Internet's the other one we're going to look at here today. But I'll just tell you, folks, all of them are up. American Bitcoin's up and things to that effect. 4.21% up for Circle Internet Group. Well, why are they all up? Well, President Trump's push for Congress to pass crypto-friendly legislation is out there. We mentioned it yesterday, causing Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to go up in their value on the market. And, of course, stocks that have to deal with cryptocurrencies that we just showed you, they're all up today based off of that news as well. So that's why we saw have seen such a big jump since yesterday at this time there on Bitcoin specifically. I did look up the other cryptocurrencies. There's 1,000 of them out there. All generally up today based off of that news as well. Let's get into some local stories out there. And we know that Douglas here in Arizona and Mexico border, it's going to be the first place we're going to allow Mexican cattle to come back into the United States. Well, we find out this here as we're getting ready for that reopening. The Mexican state of Sonora, which is that same area south of Arizona, well, it's confirmed its first case of a flesh-eating parasite in a cow. Yeah, just days before that border is supposed to open coming up here as well. So not good news out there as I get ready to open it. Now, the United States, if you remember, has barred cattle from Mexico from crossing the border for more than a year. It's all to protect against the spread of that New World screwworm parasite. Now, they've confirmed the first case of the parasite in the state of Sonora more than a year and a half after the screwworm first entered Mexico in late 2024. So, are we going to get some cattle over with that parasite in them is kind of the question, right? Now, this was reported in a cow on the southwest region of Sonora, which is only 10 miles from the border of the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Yeah. So it's getting closer to the U.S. border. Now, the border here in the United States is set to reopen to cattle coming up this Monday morning. Yeah, and it starts at the Douglas Crossing from Sonora into Arizona. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, I looked everywhere. I saw several sites. I know KJAZ had one, a couple national sites as well. I saw nobody had any response from the Department of Agriculture or any government agency to that question on whether the reopening is still going to take place as scheduled. Are they going to delay it again? No answer to that as of this morning that I saw as well. We know that Texas has had the disease, the parasite on their side. They've confirmed more than 40 cases over there of the screwworm in Texas since the parasite first appeared in the United States earlier this summer as well. Now, in terms of the state of Sonora, with that screwworm there being found, they said they've released 360,000 sterile screwworm flies. They released it in the area around that state's first case. So if you don't know, the only way to combat it really is put sterile ones out there so they mate. They mate once and die. And then obviously no babies can be formed. It's kind of how you kill it off there as well. So the USDA, as well as their counterparts down in Mexico, they consider sterile fly releases the most effective method for eradicating the parasite, which was eradicated here in America for multiple decades now, and now showing itself up. And we'll have to see if this border crossing of cattle back in Douglas is going to be allowed to happen coming up this week, or if there is going to be a delay moving forward. We know, here in Arizona, data centers are becoming a controversial topic. People aren't wanting them in their neighborhoods, et cetera, because they're just big brown box or big round square boxes, I should say, if I can speak properly. And, the interest of water levels going up, electric levels going up, and things to that effect. And, I was driving to Tucson this weekend, and there's a big data center going up in Eloy, in the middle of nowhere. Like, why aren't these being built in the middle of nowhere? Well, data centers, they're showing an interest in setting up shop in rural parts of Arizona. Interesting, this story came out after I had that thought this weekend. Rural utilities are looking for new regulatory processes to review contract applications and then also have potential, because these guys have the potential to be power hungry, like the data centers are just so power hungry. And they need a way to regulate it to grow their grids in the rural side to support these data centers. The Arizona Corporation Commission, well, they recently approved an application from the Arizona Electric Power Cooperative, even some of its that's some of its rural utility members out there. They said that this process would set up a checklist for the commission to refer to when reviewing energy service agreements. The applications would include information like the location of the facility, whether it would provide some of its own power or if it's got to come off the grid. Corporation Commission staff will then review the application and send the commissioners a proposed order that will address whether the agreement is in the public interest and also whether costs for providing power to large users would be shifted to residents and other customers or if it will not. I got news for you folks. It'll be shifted to rural customers. The commissioners would then decide on whether to approve or deny the agreements out there. So now there's a way to set up for these rural communities to decide if they should get these large power-hungry data centers and other large users in their areas there as well. We know data centers have largely been built here in Metro Phoenix, but developers are now looking to build in rural parts of the state, which is where it should be. Put them out in the middle of the desert somewhere and do your own electricity. It's not difficult to do. Now, the application from the cooperatives does say that they're seeing new inquiries from large load users who are looking to connect to those rural grids, which, I mean, if our grids here in Phoenix can barely handle it, imagine how a rural side of the state could handle that electricity out there as well. And let's go to downtown Phoenix here as well. The home of the Phoenix Suns Mortgage Matchup Center, or on the main event, I refer to it as the morgue out there. It's getting a very visible upgrade because it's preparing to host the 2027 NBA All-Star Game coming up next year, and it's going to be in February here in Phoenix. Now, the team, it said Tuesday it's installing an LED display on the outside of the Mortgage Matchup Center. 226 feet wide, 41 feet tall, so it's the only NBA or WNBA arena with a transparent display that's going to be that big. This multi-million-dollar upgrade, well, it should be ready sometime in September. They've already started construction on it out there. And it is a large, as you see on your screen there, it is a large display for downtown Phoenix there as well. And of course, if you go to downtown Phoenix, every large building has big video displays on them and things of that. It's kind of overwhelming down there as well. And now this outside the arena, right in the front there, where you got the kind of that archway is where it's going to be. So look, last time he did the All-Star game was here. Well, he announced his big practice facility and that investment. So now, every time we get an All-Star game, we get a big development around the Suns and the Mercury here by Matt Ishbia from his perspective. All right, folks, you ready for breakfast? Let's talk a little bit breakfast here. And ready to drink cocktail brand, you know them as Buzzballs. Well, they partnered with Pop-Tarts, folks. Limited edition beverage collection inspired by two of Pop-Tarts, well, big flavors that everybody looks at. Frosted s'mores and frosted brown sugar cinnamon. That's right. Buzzballs told USA Today the Pop-Tarts flavored alcoholic drinks, by the way, were created specifically with millennial fans in mind. Because who doesn't want to wake up and have Pop-Tart alcoholic drinks? Yeah. They say the collaboration, quote, taps into the nostalgic of enjoying Pop-Tarts growing up in the 90s. Pop-Tart flavored Buzzballs are currently rolling out in retailers throughout the United States. Limited time only supply. That's what they always do when they come out with these new things until they're proven to have sustainability on the market. Now, the alcoholic beverages there from Buzzballs with these two Pop-Tart flavors, they have a suggested retail price of $3.99 out there. So there you go, folks. Buzzballs, you see them on your screen there. Alcoholic drink for you people that need to drink for breakfast and you don't have time to make a Pop-Tart, you don't have time to mix your mixed drink, combine the two for you for breakfast out there. Hey, appreciate you joining me here for McCollum on Business here on this Thursday. We're going to roll right into the main event coming up live here on YouTube, 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 a.m. Come and join us. Uncle Lou's in the building today, along with Dale Hellestrade to start the show. He is back today. We'll get updated on him and talk a little sports. Obviously, Cattell Marte's situation is the big news out there. 8 to 10 a.m. Come and join us live on YouTube. If not, catch all of our programming on demand later in the day. We'll see you there, everybody. Have a great afternoon.